Harvey Unga is number 2 all-time in rushing at BYU, and number 2 with 45 total touchdowns. Went great with his number. He ran the ball between 2006 and 2009. Ran for over 1,000 yards each season. He's preparing for his 3rd season as the running backs coach for Kalani Sitake, and we welcome Harvey to the Wise Guys. Harvey, welcome.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Harv?
Hey, we just talked to Max Hall for about 45 minutes. Man, does he love you.
Holy cow, he loves you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I was going to say I'm a little afraid of some of the stories he might have told you guys.
Well, we'll let you know. On one, he said that you were always, you would keep it light, which helped the team play looser. He says sometimes in the huddle, you'd be coming out and you'd go, I don't know what I do on that, Max. What do I do? And he would look at you like, you got to be kidding me. And then you would just laugh and you'd be like, I know what I'm doing. I'm just kidding. It would just keep it light. And he said that was a big, being loose and playing loose and having fun was a big part of the success of that team. Can you verify that story? Is that true?
I cannot deny nor confirm. I actually would. This game's so fun. You guys like it. You know this. The game of football is like, if you're not having fun, there's something wrong. You shouldn't be playing this game. So for me, that was why I played this game, because I loved it. I had fun and maybe a little too much fun at times. But yeah, that was something that, whether it was just messing around with Max or half of the time he hated it, but if I saw he was getting tensed up or anything, I would just joke around with him and start like blowing in his helmet. And he'd look at me like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I was just making sure you're okay. He'd be like, stop, like, don't do that. And I'm like, all right, my bad.
See, we know that Harvey is the reason that Max didn't just lose it all of those years. And he kept him calm. He also did relate a story, Harvey, that he said one time you were really uptight and you wondered what was going on, and you were really upset for some pregame comments that a Wyoming linebacker made, and that you guys basically beat the crap out of that linebacker during the course of the game because you were mad at him.
I wasn't mad at him. Well, never mind. I was pretty mad. I'm not a big fan of guys that would talk trash before the game's played and that kind of stuff. To me, same way I talk to my running backs, I'm like, look, just let your playing talk for itself. And the guy had said some things that kind of annoyed me, and I sadly took it personal. I don't know. Have you guys ever watched the Michael Jordan documentary?
Yeah.
The Last Dance.
Oh yeah.
So it was funny. Like, for me, that was like how I guess would motivate myself to play the game. Whether a guy would say something or not, I would kind of trick myself into like, well, this guy was talking about me personally. And I would use that. I'm like, all right, well, this guy said this. And even though the guy wasn't directing it towards me, in my head, I'm like telling myself, oh, he meant this about me, so I'm going to teach him a lesson. And for me, it helped me out. But now looking back, I'm like, it's kind of a weird way to think.
Hey, if Michael Jordan used to do that, which he did, he would fabricate things in his own mind to get himself fired up, right? If you did that, if MJ did it, maybe it's okay. Maybe more of us should be doing this, right, Harv?
Going in, I remember him telling me, like, just make sure you take care of the football, and if you can, just try to stay if you can't stay between the hashes, try to get between the hashes, because they were talking about if all else fails, then we'll kick a field goal and see what happens from there. But in my head, I kind of took that personal and was like, oh, so you don't think I can score? so I got mad that all that stuff happened all at once, and me being dumb, young, and naive, I thought it was something personal, but it was just football. He's just coaching and doing, playing the game. And I took that personal, so I was kind of angry to
You,
start
well,
out
you
the whole
you
thing.
you ran over to 17 and 28. I know who they are. I'm not going to say names, but you ran because I don't want to embarrass them. But you ran over 17 and 28. When you turned around, you couldn't tell because he had a helmet on, but it almost looked like you wanted to say something like, "Don't ever think that I'm not going to run over you, lightweight," or something like that. Were you thinking about trash talking those guys?
No, I was gonna say, "How are you? Okay? Or, good job.
Nice effort.
Oh man.
Yeah, that exactly.
That's awesome.
It's funny you say that. And I haven't ever admitted this ever, but
Here we go.
So I turn around because I was already angry from all of that. I actually turned and went to throw the football at the guy.
Oh no.
And luckily, Sete, our center, ran right in front of me, so it hits him and drops to the ground. And now looking back, I'm like, oh, geez, that would have been so bad. But because we had to go, I think we had to make a 2-point conversion.
To get it to 7.
Yeah.
And put it away. Because it was 10-9. You scored, went for 2, got it by 7, and finished that off.
That would have,
that could have been
2-point conversion.
Well, and not that Sete's a guy that didn't play right on the edge of sanity all the time, too, right? So I think it's ironic that Sete's the guy that keeps you from getting a penalty because that dude always played right out there, didn't he? He was intense up there up front.
No, yeah, he I would say, like, you want some nastiness in your linemen. And Sete was that guy. Like he may have been the smallest out of the group, but as far as like just being nasty and a prick, like Sete was that guy.
Yes.
He set the tone.
I love it.
Harvey Unga is with us, number 2 all-time rushing leader at BYU. Now, we know this is typically a week where the coaches are off because it's the last few days of summer, and you agreed to come on with us partly because of the season premiere of After Further Review tonight was such a focus on your running back, Tyler Algiere, and that season last year where he passed Luke Staley as the single-season rushing leader. So thank you for carving some time with us. When you saw Tyler playing linebacker to where he is today with the Atlanta Falcons, how do you describe that journey?
Man, it's one of the, for me, it's one of the coolest Cinderella stories. You have a kid who's not familiar with BYU football at all out of high school, comes in as a walk-on, and in order to pay for everything and do everything, he's working the graveyard shift at Walmart, trying to help pay for school. And after, doing the graveyard shift, he comes back in early morning lifts. From early morning lifts, goes to class, from class to meetings to practice to study hall, and then sleeps for a couple hours and then does it again. So it's, before the whole linebacker thing, like that in and of itself, just, it shows the type of person that Tyler is. And for me, it's one of the most humbling things to see. And I couldn't be more proud of him just from where, like you said, he came in as a running back and then moved over to linebacker because, he wanted to help out the team in any way he could. And then ended up, making the switch back to running back and just made the most of it and ran away with it. And now, he's living his dream.
It seemed like in that COVID season when he settled back into the running back position, he got stronger as time progressed, but he also seems to get stronger as games go on. Like he may only average 3 yards a carry at the beginning of the game. It seems like by the end of the game, he's averaging 6 yards a carry. And as we documented today in our AFR show, University of Utah game, he just took the air out of the ball at the end of the game and just punished them down the stretch. And BYU held on to the ball. Same thing in the Arizona State game. Like we went game after game. We're like, oh yeah, and here's where they just turn it over to Tyler and say, Tyler, we just got to get first down or 2 first downs. What it is about him that makes him so tough in the fourth quarter of a football game?
Really, it's his work ethic. And I know it might not correlate to some people, but the fact that the kid was willing to, jump through all these hoops to play the game of football, to be here, working the graveyard shift and doing all these other extra things on top of training and stuff, it doesn't surprise me at all. He had that type of hunger. He had goals and he worked his butt off to accomplish those goals. You can talk to any of his teammates, our strength and conditioning guys. Like he worked out just as hard as anybody else, if not harder than anyone else. And you saw it on game day. The guy, I don't know if he ever missed a practice, let alone a game. Aside from the COVID game that he had to miss once, but other than that, I don't just overall the kid's work ethic. He's a workhorse, and it showed, every single game.
Your running style made it very tough for people to tackle you, and you're a lot bigger than Tyler. What was it about his style that you worked on in practice that when you got him out onto the field, and David Nixon broke down some video of that during AFR today, what is it about the way Tyler runs that makes him tough to stop?
So when he first got here, he ran really, really high. That was the one thing I noticed first, and that was something that we spent the whole summer doing drills of him just getting his center of gravity lower, lowering his pad level and everything like that when he was doing drills and everything. And so that was the first thing that we really started working on. And then from there, it's his naturally, he's got great feet. He's got really great feet. And obviously his toughness was a factor in it and his strength. But I really felt like the biggest key component to him being tough to tackle was just his pad level. I told him as soon as you can learn to run with a good forward lean and get your pads down, it's going to be really hard for guys to stop you. And everything else was just, you either have it or you don't. And it's something that I can't coach it, and Tyler had it. And for me, it was fun to see him. Like once he understood what I was trying to work with him and do things to help him improve his game. It was from there on. It was him. It was Tyler and the O-line. They did their thing.
Was there a point during the year last year, maybe it was before last year, where you're going, you know what? I think this guy can play in the NFL. When was that for you?
It was actually his first year.
Really?
Is that right? Wow.
It was 2020. Well, before then, so I got to work with him when I was a GA. He had something to him, and like I said, it was when I was doing drills and working with him as a GA, he was doing things that I couldn't coach and things that guys in the NFL were doing when we were running drills. And I was like, okay, this kid has something. I don't know exactly what, but he's got something. But then as soon as we got into that fall of 2020, the very first scrimmage that he got to go live, you could see it. He was breaking 3 tackles in one run and scurrying off for like 50 yards to score and was doing it consistently. And from there, I was like, okay, this guy is like, he's got something. And, if he keeps trending the way he's trending, he's definitely an NFL back. So, I felt like 2020 was kind of where things came out and really just worked out for him.
Harvey Unga's with us on the Wise Guys. So what were your conversations like when he started to think, maybe I'll leave school early for the NFL draft? You had experience with this after your junior season. What were those conversations like back and forth?
A lot of it was just, we were talking pros and cons majority of the time. We just sat there and dialed out the pros and cons of staying and going. And then we talked about agents and all that kind of stuff. And And then really a lot of it boiled down to his goals and what he wanted to do. I told him, I'm not going to tell you to do one thing or the other. You do what's best for you and your family and what you feel is best in your heart. And I'm going to support you. I'll give you my 2 cents, but at the end of the day, it's your decision. And, I trust you'll make the right one and do what's best for you and your family. But I'm not gonna lie though, it was tough because there was, the game's changed a ton. And now with a lot of these guys that have their insurance clause and all these other things that kind of give them a little bit of a blanket, whether they, if they decide to stay, it makes a difference. In the past, you don't have that. So it's easier to just say, hey, go get your money and do your thing. But for him, I felt like there was a lot of pros coming back. And I told him, I'm like, look, you'd be the front runner for the Dope Walker Award in my eyes, and in a few other, coaches and people's eyes. Like, you could potentially be a Heisman candidate. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know. And it's hard to say, but does that, change your draft stock? Yeah, drastically. You may go from being a 5th rounder to now a first day guy that could go in the 1st or 2nd round. And you go from, you're making a lot of money still, obviously, getting drafted, but you're going from making a lot of money, a couple $100,000, to now life changing or generational changing money. And if money's not the motive, then obviously, do your thing and do whatever you feel is best in your heart. But if we're talking, business and money and all that stuff, who knows? And if it doesn't work out, obviously you have the safety blanket with your insurance clause that could still, you're still going to make more money than if you get drafted in the latter rounds. But it's hard to say because now you're gambling injuries and, if he doesn't follow up with the same kind of season, then what? Does he fall off all the award lists? Does he, his draft stock drop, a ton? Or so I don't know. It was hard. We had some really long, hard conversations, and bless his heart, I felt bad because just looking at him, he looked so stressed out, and his main focus coming in here, he and his mom talked about graduating. It's that was my main focus of coming to BYU, was to graduate and get a degree, which would be huge because he would be the first in his family to do that. Yeah. And I didn't want to play that card against him, so I just kept quiet.
Oh, he needs to come back and get it. We need to get that.
No,
him, right?
Yeah.
He needs to come back and get it.
He is. He's got one class left. So,
oh man,
yeah, I knew he was close.
Like, hey,
it's
your thing, man.
It's awesome. It's awesome to hear, because people wonder, how those conversations go, and it sounds like you all helped him weigh out every single pro and con of this, and then just supported him in his decision, which is all you can do, right? And and so now here he is with the Falcons. All the buzz coming out of there, I mean, they're just getting started, is he's going to have a great opportunity, maybe even a possibility to compete for a starting job. You were with the Bears. You know what the NFL is like. It's a tough place to be. What's your thoughts on his chances with Atlanta and on being a regular player? Can he have the kind of success that Jamal Williams has had in the NFL? Is he that kind of guy?
Easily. I believe wholeheartedly. One, because of, like I said, his work ethic, but 2, the situation he's in as far as running back go in Atlanta, he's sitting in a great spot. There's one veteran guy there that he'd really be competing with. The other guys, I mean, they have 2 years or maybe 3 years on him. Yeah. Which they're still rookies in the NFL's eyes. But him getting drafted and with, having the spring that he had over there, I really think he's got a great chance of splitting time. And if all else fails, before Tyler was Tyler, like the guy was our best special teams player.
Yes.
Like the guy could do everything. So there's that other part of his game that, just helps him out tremendously. But in my eyes, he's an NFL running back, and I think he's got a great chance of being the guy. I think in a short amount of time.
Looking behind you, it's nice and green and quiet there at the practice field. That'll all change in a week, and Coach Sataki will look over at you and say, "Hey, who do you got to replace Tyler Algiere?" How do you feel about your running back room with Chris Brooks, really the newest face in that group?
Oh, I love it. There's we've got experience, from the guys that have been here, but on top of it, you add on a guy like Chris, who's had experience at the P5 level, and is someone that came into the spring and just dove right in. Like, he understood, like, he grasped the offense really well. Came in, made some great plays for us in the spring. Carried himself, as a leader, and I think he's definitely earned the respect of his teammates over here, and he's also somebody that if things go how we hope they go, he could be another NFL guy.
Yeah.
He has that kind of potential.
If I have that potential, whether I'm Brooks, who has that potential, or I'm Katoa or McChesney or Davis or Rapati that's lining up there, I'm feeling pretty grateful that I got a group of monsters lining up in front of me that may be as good as any offensive line in the country. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't speak, enough great things about the O-line. And for each of those guys across the board, not just the first string guys, but the second string guys and some of the third string guys, like, we've got some dudes over there. And I told the backs, I'm like, look, if you guys can't run the ball, that's on you. That's our room. That's on us. Because those guys up there, like, I could line up my 12-year-old son and he'd be able to, rush for 100 yards against him. Like, it's like, those are the type of guys you got.
All right, Harvey. So then let me ask you, is this line better than your offensive lines? Because you guys had some monsters.
We did. We had some amazing guys.
Man, Dave's put you on the spot, Harvey. He's put you on the spot.
I'm going to ask you next. I'm going to ask you next. You had some guys, too, in front of your offensive line.
Yeah, I know.
Man, I will say, so athletically, I feel like our guys are more athletic on our team right now. And across the board, they're bigger. As far as technically sound and everything like that, I don't know. I feel like my guys were pretty dang good as far as, like, that part goes. So I don't know. It's kind of hard because it's a different style of offense and different group of guys, but I don't know. That's tough. That's a great question.
What about your guys? You had Maddich, you had Anai.
Well,
Garrett.
It depends. Like, over my time here, we had, like, multi-time Pro Bowlers and Bart Oates, and we had Trevor Maddich, who played forever in the league, and so we had some guys, but all at the same time. Like, I'm not afraid to look. My dudes were nasty and physical, and we won a ton of football games.
Right.
This group's bigger than that group, and I think before it's all said and done, if I just take the 10 right now with maybe the 10 my junior and senior year, there's more NFL guys in this group than the NFL guys. Like, we had NFL guys, but I think they have a couple more of them, so they're deeper with talent than we were. I'm not taking anything away from my guys. We'll line up and go play anybody. I'm
not trying to take your guys off.
We led the nation in total offense with
Harvey's
my guys. Harvey's guys were really, really good. We love our guys, right, Harv? We love our guys. But this group is deep, and they got a lot of NFL boys up there. So that's all. I'll leave it at that. So
your 12-year-old could go for 1,000 yards. Is that right? Or was it 100 yards?
He'd go 100-yard game.
Yeah.
100 yards a game.
Behind these guys, I shoot. Yeah.
Yeah,
These guys, we got some dudes.
Yes,
All
we
right,
do.
here's some more hard-hitting questions, and we'll finish up with you in just a few minutes. We sure appreciate having Harvey Unga on the Wise Guys. So the Satakis just welcomed a new baby girl into their family. It's been 12 years since Kalani had a newborn, and you and Kalani have a handful of kids. So what advice have you given the coach to get him back up to speed?
Like you're way closer to it than he is. It's been a long time for him.
Yeah. Honestly, we were just texting back and forth, and he's like, man, I don't know what I'm doing over here. And I was like, hey, it's like riding a bike, bro. I'm sure you're going to be just fine. I was like, if anything, I was like, just make sure Timberly's happy. Whatever you do, just make sure Timberly's happy, and everything will work out.
That's good. That's good advice for all of us, right? Even me, all our kids.
Yeah.
My babies are coaching with Harvey. Like Gavin is one of my. But it's good advice. Like, I just got to keep Brenda happy. Harvey's giving advice to all of us. You better keep Diane happy.
This is a family show. This is family relations.
That's the best advice you could give anybany, right? So how old's your youngest? How old's your youngest, Harvey?
She just turned 4.
Yeah.
She just turned 4 last month. So it's, you're
still in the thick of it. You're still in the thick
of it. Yeah,
we're
still in it. We, she's our 4th. So after the first 3, I feel like I kind of have a grasp on things and realize, like, hey, just keep your wife happy and everybody else is happy in the house and everything works out. So I'm like, hey, that's it. I'm just going to focus on that. And
that may be the best advice we've ever had on this show.
Words to live by. Earlier we had Max on talking about his project to help people in trouble. And now we've got Harvey on with marriage counseling advice. This is what
we like.
This is an awesome.
That's what we do on this show.
Harvey, we got 5 questions for you before we wrap up. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We ask everybody these 5. We'll compare it. We'll compare it to Max's, and we ask everybody that comes on the show the same 5 questions, just so we can get to know everybody.
You want to do them?
Yeah. So we're gonna start off with your favorite movie.
Probably Tombstone. I mean, aside from Top Gun, this new Top Gun, I'd say Tombstone. Oh
yeah, nobody's mentioned that new Top. So Max said Braveheart, which I thought was.
And then he apologized. He said, I apologize.
It's going to be Braveheart. I'm like, what are you apologizing for? It's a great movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, Tombstone 2 and Maverick. We all love Maverick. We do whatever we want on the show. So Dave and I did a movie review the week after Maverick came out. And we loved it.
What did you guys think?
We loved it. We gave it all kinds of thumbs up.
And the fact that they made like $1.4 billion now shows that Americans still want a good movie with a good story and nothing else.
Yep.
You know, we don't want to be educated. Just we want to be entertained.
And we all agreed that Tom Cruise still has got it.
Yeah.
That the action scenes were off the charts with the plane. And then what's his love interest in it?
I don't know, but she nailed it.
Yeah, we also agreed that she's hot. So there you go.
Penny?
What? No, the girl that has his love interest in the show. What's her real name? I can't remember her real name.
I can't remember either.
That's a great question.
Yeah, but anyhow, she was hot and she was great.
One of our streamers will tell us here in a second.
Yeah, they'll tell us who it is.
All right, so Tombstone / Top Gun.
Yep. So favorite cereal?
Favorite cereal? O's.
O's. Man, I haven't heard that. Man,
do they still make O's?
They do.
Yeah,
they do. They actually make that huge value bag brand now.
Oh, okay. Yep.
At Walmart. So
Max's was peanut butter Captain Crunch. Mine is Cinnamon Life, and Dave's is what's yours again?
Captain Crunch.
He's like regular Captain Crunch with no crunch berries or peanut butter things or anything. Just plain old Captain Crunch.
I had it this morning. It was outstanding.
Yep. So favorite band.
Favorite band.
Oh, hey, it was Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jennifer Connelly.
Barrister Beast. Jennifer Connelly's the girl that we said was hot and a great actress. So
okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Favorite band.
Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Bob Marley and the Wailers? That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm writing that one down.
I'm writing it down too because that's a good one. Okay. Question 4. Your favorite NFL running back?
Current or of all time?
Of all time. We'll do both. Because we did the same thing on quarterbacks with Max, and his of all time was Brett Favre.
Okay.
Who did he say was his current? He said Tom Brady, he loves to watch, but he loves Josh Allen. So now you get to do your position. So your favorite current and then your favorite all-time.
Current Tyler.
Tyler Algiere. Okay, I love that. Oh, I love that. But Jamal's going to be mad, but that's okay.
Love the loyalty.
And then
are you mad at Jamal because he got a few more yards than you? Is that why Jamal's not on your list?
Nah, I love Jamal. Knows I love Jamal.
Okay, so we'll do 1A and 1B, Tyler and Jamal. Then who's your favorite all-time NFL running back?
See, that's where it's hard for me because I have a 1A and 1B there too. But
okay, give us both.
Sweetness and Barry Sanders. Those are my two.
There you go, Walter Payton and Barry Sanders.
I did I emceed a thing in Vegas one year, and Walter was the keynote, and so he and I sat next to each other having lunch, talking about stories, and he's not with us now, but he brought a style to the running back spot.
No doubt.
And he's such a nice guy. Hey, I rewrote question 5.
Oh gosh, yeah, I didn't even see this until just now. Your favorite, your favorite live stream hosts of all time. That's what we do. By the way. It's got to be Dan.
I'm talking to him.
Yeah,
that's what. That's
I'm
man.
talking to him.
That's borderline pandering right there.
That
by
brought
Dave
you the
McCann
second question. This one's going to have a little more teeth to it. Since we had Max on earlier, who was Max's number one weapon? Was it Dennis Pitta, Austin Collie, or Harvey Unga?
I mean, me, of course. Oh, geez, that's hard.
What do you mean? You just answered it.
You said it's Harvey.
I can't say me.
Yes, you can say it. Stick with it.
Max, well, I think I bugged him the most because I was always next to him.
Yeah.
So he had like no choice half of the time but to throw me the ball because I would just annoy him. I don't know. That's tough, though. That's really tough. Did Max answer that?
No, Max just said he loved that when they would come out of the huddle, it's like he just knew that they couldn't double anybody because there was just too many weapons on that offense. With you and Dennis, just people forget about Andrew George. He's like, we had weapons all over the field on that team.
He hated it. If he said he liked it, he hated it. I'm telling you this because there was a point in a few of our games where he got mad at us because Austin was like, just throw me the ball. And then you hear Dennis like, throw me the ball. I get in the backfield with him like, if you want a first down, throw me the ball, Max. And then obviously you had George and everyone else, but it was nonstop between us.
Yeah,
us three were just.
Does that happen all the time?
Oh yeah, because I've told these guys, Harvey, you're just giving me a flashback. We're playing Michigan for the national championship. Robbie gets knocked out of the game. I come in. As soon as I step in the huddle, Glenn Kozlowski goes, dude, I'm freaking wide open on every play. And I'm like, okay, Glenn. And then I kind of stick my head back in the huddle, and Mark Bellini's on the other side, and Bellini goes, he's full of crap. I'm open on every single play.
How does this all happen in 25 seconds?
Now I'm completely confused. Yeah. Everybody evidently is wide open on every single play. So
yeah. That's hard, though.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Those two.
Well, more often.
I couldn't choose.
More often than not, when he gave you the ball, you got him a first down or a touchdown and a phenomenal career. And now you're teaching the running backs. And big challenge ahead with the new group in the room, the veterans in the room, and the new face with Chris Brooks. But we will see at practice next week, and we sure appreciate it.
We know you're up for it, Harvey, and we thank you so much for spending time with us during your off week. We appreciate it. We love you, man, and we wish you the best of luck.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Can't wait to see you guys.
You got it. See you next week. The great Harvey Unga, number 2 all-time rushing at BYU.